In every sports league, a generational talent emerges, transforming the game and elevating those around them, much like a rising tide lifts all boats. In swimming, it was Michael Phelps. In boxing, Muhammad Ali. In baseball, Babe Ruth. And in women's MMA, Ronda Rousey took the mantle while Serena Williams dominated women's tennis. During the NBA's darkest days, when the league faced significant challenges, it was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson who revitalized it. Then came Michael Jordan, and suddenly the NBA evolved from a league on the brink of collapse in the 1970s to a global powerhouse by the 1990s. This is the remarkable impact generational talents can have. Now, the WNBA has struggled for decades and is often perceived as a league in disarray. Despite their best efforts, the league continues to face financial challenges, losing millions year after year. However, with rising stars like Caitlyn Clark, there's hope that a new wave of talent could change the narrative and usher in a new era for women's basketball. Then, almost as if their prayers were finally answered, Caitlyn Clark emerged. As a devoted NBA fan for nearly 2 decades, I can honestly say I've never seen anyone quite like her. The NBA was already a dominant force when I became a superfan.
This is expected of Caitlyn Clark. She's supposed to be great. She's not the Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is, because that's a surprise, which to me is wrong. Should LeBron not have won the Rookie of the Year because he was supposed to win it?
So I never experienced one individual having this level of influence on a league. She has single-handedly changed the perception of an entire sports association in a way I've never witnessed before. Now, here's where things get amusing for us but downright dangerous for the WNBA. In the NBA, there's a phrase called fumbling the bag. We saw this when Nerlens Noel turned down a $70 million contract, only to settle for $4 million. Similarly, Dennis Schroeder rejected an $80 million deal and ended up with just $6 million.
A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this credit. What about the women that came before her? What the women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlyn Clark. But there was a lot of people tried to make sure they keep Caitlyn Clark in her place, because what you're doing, if you give her all this shine, you minimize what they done. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else.
Now it appears that the WNBA might be fumbling their golden opportunity with Caitlyn Clark, risking a significant shift in the league's trajectory. If they're not careful, we might just see Caitlyn Clark playing in another league. If that happens, the WNBA could slide right back into being the punchline it's been for nearly 2 decades. Basketball is full of stories about players who felt undervalued and walked away from their teams, like Scottie Pippen with the Chicago Bulls, Jimmy Butler with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kyrie Irving with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and most recently, Klay Thompson with the Golden State Warriors. Well, just a short time ago, the WNBA made a completely baffling move regarding Caitlyn Clark.
Caitlyn Clark is all about winning. I don't know if y'all know that. I don't know if y'all been paying attention. So I know why Cheryl Swoops is mad. I know why you mad, Cheryl. Because you see Caitlyn making the money that you wish you would have made when you was a player. And you kind of bitter, you kind of salty. It's a jealous spirit. The moral of the story is this: every OG is not an OG. Some OGs just old and grumpy.
And honestly, if I were her, I'd be feeling pretty underappreciated right now. You see, when the 2024 regular season ended, the award winners were already obvious: MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Woman, Defensive Player of the Year. The whole lineup was anticipated. All that was left were the official announcements. On September 22nd, the WNBA officially crowned A'ja Wilson as the league MVP. Naturally, with Caitlyn Clark being the best thing to ever happen to the WNBA, we expected her announcement to come next. But 3 days later, on September 25th, they announced the most improved player instead.
Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlyn's being used as a pawn. Mm-hmm. Caitlyn didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening.
No big deal. Surely Caitlyn's recognition was coming next, right? Well, on September 27th, instead of her name, they rolled out a list of records broken in the 2024 season. I couldn't help but laugh. I mean, seriously, what were they thinking? But still, No big deal, right? I mean, Caitlyn's announcement was bound to come any day now. Well, then came September 29th, one full week after the MVP was revealed, and instead of Caitlyn, they announced the Defensive Player of the Year. I laughed again, and everyone else was left wondering, what's going on? But later that same day, the WNBA made another announcement, and this had to be it. We thought it would finally be Caitlyn's moment, except it wasn't. They announced Cheryl Reeve as Coach and Executive of the Year. At this point, things were getting ridiculous. Caitlyn Clark was the biggest sensation the WNBA had ever seen, and she was head and shoulders above every other rookie. So why wasn't she being announced? She had to be next, right? Well, not quite. On September 30th, the WNBA made another announcement, this time regarding their expansion draft for the 13th franchise, the Golden State Valkyries. Seriously, at this point, everyone was asking, where in the world is Caitlyn Clark? Then, on October 2nd, another press release came out, and guess what it was for? The 2024 Kim Parrott Sportsman Award. Unbelievable. I literally laughed to myself. You're going to announce the Sportsmanship Award before recognizing the Golden Girl? By now, fans online were getting restless, and the comments started pouring in. I noticed one that read, "You still haven't congratulated Caitlyn Clark on her Rookie of the Year award. Why is that?" Another one stated, "Posting this while hiding your Rookie of the Year, Caitlyn Clark?"
I wonder if Caitlyn, in every post-game press conference, she came out and talked about the kind of hateful comments that she was getting. If she came out and told everybody the reason why she has personal security that goes with her every single place, it's a lot. And so it's not just Caitlyn Clark fans or Indiana Fever fans. It is not all going in one direction.
Is the type of move that shows why the league has been so unsuccessful. Then there was the sarcastic comment, "What about Rookie of the Year? Are you going to send it to Caitlyn via cash on delivery, wrapped in fish paper?" Finally, someone summed it up perfectly. The WNBA's trolling at this point. Anyway, finally, October 3rd rolled around, nearly 2 weeks after the MVP announcement, and they finally recognized Caitlyn. But it wasn't all sunshine and celebrations. Something just didn't feel right. You see, Caitlyn Clark was hands down the best rookie of the 2024 class, and I mean by a mile. She didn't just dominate among rookies, she was literally in the MVP conversation. Record after record fell at her feet, and she even took her team from the bottom of the conference to the playoff hunt. She was that good. Yet the WNBA committed basketball blasphemy by refusing to give her a unanimous Rookie of the Year vote and handing one to Angel Reese instead. It should have been unanimous. Caitlyn got 66 votes, while Angel, who can't even claim half her rebounds are from her own misses.
Why do you think people love Caitlyn Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Like Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. I've seen it a little bit in Mahmoud Abdul-Roh, but I've never seen a guy consistently come down. And if you look at, like if you saw Steph on the street, he ain't got the LeBron muscles. He's not 6'9", he's 6'10". He look like a perfect, normally office guy.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff that people never seen before. She's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. There's a lot of girls in WNBA that have done it in spurts, but you know, that game I'm watching y'all in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, like, and I was a hater because, you know, I'm down. She was like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit that shot. Man, like, if I say 10 times you're not going to hit the shot and you hit the shot, that means you're the truth. So I'm telling you now, if you just lower it like this, right there. I'm not saying go right there. I'm just, you know what y'all need to do one day?
I feel like it still wouldn't be.
Got one vote to ruin the party for Caitlyn. This was a huge slap in the face. Just look at the comparison between the two. Caitlyn beat Angel 3-1 in their regular season matchups, leading her team to third in the conference while Angel's team finished dead last. And when you dive into the individual stats, the gap between them becomes even more ridiculous. Caitlyn led in points per game, assists, steals, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, free throw percentage, effective field goal percentage, and heck, even blocks. The only stat Angel leads in is rebounds, and even that's skewed since she grabs a lot of her own misses. How did the WNBA manage to rob Caitlyn Clark of a unanimous Rookie of the Year award when the picture is as clear as day? Here's what WNBA fans had to say about this. One fan wrote, I really want to know who cast that one vote. What type of person do you have to be? Another chimed in, give me a break. This should be unanimous. Arguably the best rookie season of all time.
Is Caitlyn Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlyn Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlyn Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the case.
Then someone else mentioned, it's like they're doing this on purpose so she wouldn't win unanimous. Jealousy is a bitter perfume. And there's one more fan comment that sums up what many people are thinking about that one vote. Swoops is a POS. It's wild that a league would do this to the one person in their 20-plus years of existence who could actually pull them out of obscurity and into the spotlight. For the last decade, they've practically been begging for money at every turn. I feel like the pay gap is something that, we could just take a donation around the NBA. Maybe they were so strapped for cash that Kyrie Irving had to step in and support them during the pandemic. Now, given how Caitlyn has been treated all year, the constant abuse she's faced both on and off the court.
Well, look, right now she's very comfortable, very, very comfortable. And you know what that is? Kudos to her, because that means not only has she been putting in the work behind the scenes, but that means she's been a student of the game and in the film room. When you're at that position, the point guard position, and you're leading the charge, you have to figure things out. But all I was hearing was, it's going to be an adjustment for Caitlyn Clark. She's going to have to get used to the physicality. People are going to be going at her. And they tried it, and it didn't work. Here she is right now breaking all kind of records. Here she is right now leading her team into the postseason. Here she is right now standing on business. If I had to evaluate her season right now and give a fair evaluation, I would say she has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the hype that she had, the expectations she had to live up to, packing out arenas on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people out there waiting to see her fail, and still keeping her composure as a rookie and leading this team has been a beautiful thing to see.
Imagine what would happen if Caitlyn Clark left the WNBA. Imagine her getting fed up with the on-court cheap shots, the verbal assaults off the court, the constant passive-aggressive jabs from all sides, and the league's refusal to step in. What if she decided to head overseas like Gabby Williams, who just left the Seattle Storm to play in Europe? Or like Elizabeth Williams and Diana Taurasi, who both left the WNBA for stints abroad? Sure, those players all left to chase bigger paychecks. But imagine if Caitlyn left simply because she was done with all the non-basketball drama she's been forced to endure. Here's the reality. The WNBA needs to understand that Caitlyn Clark doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs Caitlyn Clark. I mean, Caitlyn's very first playoff series pulled in 1.8 million viewers for Game 1 and 1.2 million for Game 2. To put that into perspective, the average viewership of this first-round series alone has already surpassed any WNBA finals ratings in league history.
We don't want to have to deal with what everybody else has to deal with over Twitter. We're special. We're tall women who occasionally make layups. That makes us special, and we deserve a special level of treatment.
That's how transformative Caitlyn Clark has been for the league. Don't get it twisted. Caitlyn Clark is the reason why a lot of great things are going to happen for the WNBA. Honestly, with the way they've been treating her, saying things like, the W is more than one player, leaving her off the Olympic team despite her MVP conversation, and allowing players to physically target her without consequence, it'd be hilarious to see how the league would react if their one golden ticket slipped away.
That the paying customer, the audience, didn't feel that way. They did not give a damn about the WNBA. Is that fair to the ladies? No, it isn't fair. But they're the paying customer. You don't tell them what they want, they tell you what they want. And they really were not feeling the WNBA to the degree that they're feeling the WNBA now, obviously because of Caitlyn Clark.
Stephen A. Smith has already called this out in the past. You make the call because of the betterment of the whole. In the end, that is not compromising your integrity. That is business, and y'all are going to find that out.
Regardless of whatever noise has been out there. So when you show that you're able to perform in the face of adversity, to me, that is the true testament to greatness. And that's why we're looking at her and we're saying greatness is on the way.
It would actually be pretty funny considering Angel Reese, Caitlyn Clark's so-called biggest rival, has repeatedly claimed that people tune into the WNBA because of her. But let's be real. This is why we watch Caitlyn Clark. Her skill set, the deep threes, her ability to break down defenses, pure skill. Now here's Angel Reese's game, grabbing her own rebounds and taking 75% of her shots from within 10 feet, where she still manages to score less than 50% of the time. If Caitlyn left the WNBA, the league would seriously regret it, and this would go down as the biggest fumble in sports history. In business, when you have a golden egg, you're supposed to guard it with everything you've got and let it grow into a money-making machine. Instead, they're literally letting her get attacked on the court, acting innocent like they did nothing wrong. And then just to top it off, they play victim. If you're wondering what I mean by all of this, make sure to check out this video where I break down some of the disgusting things happening to Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA.